Hi guys, in this video I'll show you how to create a new object-oriented Java project in Eclipse. First, click the Create a Java Project button or go to File menu, New, and then Java Project. You can give this project a name here. I just name it Sample Project. Then click the Finish button. This will generate the project. On the left side, you can see it's right here. There's a source folder, and then let's right click on the source folder and select New and then Class. I give this class a name. Let's call this Pet. So here I'm creating a pet class. There's a pet.java, and this contains a public class named Pet. So the class name always has to match the file name. So I could rename this. I could change it, for example, to animal. I see right away this gives me a compile error, and this says the public type animal must be defined in its own file. That is because this no longer matches the file name. So I could either go here and then go refactor, rename, and I could name this to animal. So this one matches now, so the error is gone. Or if I right click on the class name, you can also go refactor, rename. Let's name this back to pet. You can see this also changed the file name as well. So the public class name always has to match the file name. If it's non-public, so if I declare another class down below here, let's say animal, this one works because this one is not public. But typically in Java, you have a single class per file. So if I wanted to create another class, I should create it in another file. Now for the pet class, let's add a private member variable and give this a name. Now for member variables, you typically add getter and setter methods that are used to set the value of this member variable. You could go ahead and write this code for the getter and setter methods. But since this is a very common use case, you can also go down here, source, and then select generate getters and setters. Then here you can expand if you want. You can select the member variables that you have. I just have the single one name, and here you can select which ones you want to generate. In this case, I just want to generate both of them. Click generate, and I have both getName and setName here. Now let's add another class, new class, and I call this animal. And for this class, I'd also like to generate the main method or the main function here. So check public static void main. Make sure this is checked. You can add anything else. So if you want to make it abstract, you can click it here. So there's a lot of options later. If you learn more, you could generate it right from the spot, but later you can also go into the menu, context menu, and then select to generate code, just like we just did with the getter and setter methods. Now click finish. So you can see I have now an animal class that is in the animal.java file, and it generated the main method for me. Now in this method, I can create objects of this class. Let's call animal and name this A1, new animal. So I can create a second animal, A2. And even though this is in the animal file or animal class, I can also create pets. So pet1 equals new pet. Now this works because it's both in the same package. A package in Java is basically like a folder, and anything that's in the same folder will automatically resolve. So you don't have to do anything to use a class in another file in any other Java class in the same package. So I hope this gives you an idea. You can write now any regular program in the main method here, and you can work with the objects of the classes that you have defined. So to recap, you can have multiple files, multiple classes in the same package, in the same program. Each class should typically be in its own Java file, and the file name should match the class name. And in any of the classes, you can add a main function. You can have multiple mains, so I could also add a main to the pet function. If you want to, it's also a good habit to create a separate class just for the main function. So you could name this main or program. That way, when you open the project, it's really clear where the program starts, where the main function is located. If you have it in one of these files, it's kind of more hidden. It's not easy to see. So if you have a main.java file, it's pretty clear that this is where the program should start. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching.